front of you, to be able to go, that's my honest reaction.
Right.
And I'm okay because I feel like you're a safe environment. If I didn't think you were a safe environment, I might have been like, excuse me, can we pause this for a second? Like the environment of safety allows us to be able to be who we are.
Agreed.
If that creates tears, great. If that doesn't, it's okay.
All right, guys, Victoria Pippo here today. We are sitting nice and tall today.
Oh, we're sitting with perfect posture, my friend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Feels great.
How do we look?
I look good. You look good too.
I think we're looking fantastic.
Yeah, I'm usually slouched to like the bottom of the table. So
I think that means we're going to have a good conversation.
yeah, it's going to be great. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we really
Yeah, a lot going on with aliens right now, right?
Well, like so much is going on with access, with people having experiences on their own. There's a lot that's happening.
I feel like there's a lot of misdirection too.
1000%. I think that's probably the biggest topic of contention that should be spoken about more frequently right now.
Yeah, the drone stuff, kind of distracting people.
Yeah. And from there, scaring people, right? Scaring people off from who we truly are, which are diverse beings who have had access to the cosmos and have just been afraid, been misinformed, and have been, really taught not to consider more of who they truly are.
Right. Do you feel like the government's portraying aliens in a scary manner, trying to make us fearful of them?
Totally. And my aliens are great. I don't know what they're portraying them to be, but at least in my relationship with extraterrestrials, I've had great experiences with extraterrestrial beings.
Nice. When was your first one?
Well, the first time that I connected was by my own invocation. I loved to connect with them, call them in, get familiar with them, and learn from them. So I actually channeled the 7th Dimensional Arcturian Council for well over 2 years.
Wow.
And I would bring through messages for the planet. Now, version of me in 2021, 2022 would say, don't ever do that again. Mainly because I didn't have discernment. So I can't tell you with a straight face, Sean, that I knew 100% that I was connecting with them. Now that I channel in the way that I do, I've been working with an extraterrestrial being. His name is Tay for over a year and a half now. And him and I work together as a team to help the planet.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
And is he part of your lineage or what's his?
No, he's this random Syrian being who visited me by my bedside at 7:00 one night and said, hey, my name is Tay, and I need you to help me contribute to the Great Merge.
Wow.
This was the first time a being had visited me, and I've been working with him for over a year and a half helping the planet. We go to different places all over the world based on his suggestions that I follow and I trust, and we perform global light work to help the planet.
Amazing. Yeah, light is powerful, right?
Huge. And being able to use our light and the natural gifts that we have to support an evolving planet.
I'm fascinated. So I got a psychic reading once. They said I had some Syrian lineage.
Oh, yeah?
But I haven't explored it yet.
Well, here's the thing that we got to be careful about. How do they know for certain that you had a Syrian lineage? And if they are certain, then they should really present that with a lot of accuracy and challenging of the vibration. This is a big conversation that is not talked about a lot, which is, how do you know for certain that what you just delivered to Sean was true? Now Sean might go on a rabbit hole to learn about Syrian beings and what their attributes are. And what if that's not actually accurate guidance? How do you know you're an accurate psychic? Is it just simply because you receive information? As far as I'm concerned, that's bullshit.
Right.
Tell me that you know that a being is true. Tell me how you know the being is true. Tell me you know their true vibration, that their origin is true. And now we'll talk if I'm going to trust your guidance or not.
That's a good point, because a lot of people just believe people point blank.
Yeah, just because someone says that they're a psychic.
Right.
That actually makes me more skeptical of somebody, because how do you know that the information that you are bringing in and giving somebody, usually in a time of vulnerability, right? I'm coming to see a psychic or a medium when someone's deceased, when I'm looking for counsel, when I feel lost on my path. How do I know for certain that you are not blowing smoke up my ass? Most of the time, people are just in a vulnerable place at a vulnerable time of their life, reaching out to a psychic or a medium and naively trusting the insight that they're getting.
I could see that.
And then think about how that deters somebody from their natural path, the path that they maybe are meant to be on. This happened to me once. I had an Akashic reader who told me, at the time I had multiple entity attachments. So I had already known that I had some demonic activity happening in my energy. And she told me that I should call in the demon. She said, you should call him in because you made him, is what she said. You made this demon because you hate yourself.
Whoa.
And if you want, you can go ahead and meditate and get into a deep state of trance and call him in. And my body was like, that doesn't sound right to me. To call in a demon that I created because I hate myself, that feels like false guidance. I'd never had or felt that before. And so I brought it to a healer who I've been working with for a very long time. And she said, if you believe.
Searching for the perfect job can be overwhelming. You know it's out there, you just don't know how to find it. The good news, you don't have to do it alone.
Shout out to today's sponsor, Specialized Recruiting Group.
Specialized Recruiting Group is here to help. Personalized job search support tailored to your skills and needs. They connect job seekers with contract and full-time roles. The best part is that it's completely free for job seekers.
Specialized Recruiting Group is ready to find the talent you need. Go to srgpros.com, see how our recruitment specialists with a deep understanding of experience and expertise you need can find the right fit for your business. After all, you deserve to see the best candidates possible, both active and passive.
Visit srgpros.com today to start your job search. If you don't see the right job listed, SRG also recruits for confidential roles. Just call a local office to learn more. Take the next step in your career today at srgpros.com.
An ounce of what she just said, I will never be able to serve you. That was wrong guidance.
Wow.
And that was the first time I had ever looked at the guidance I had received from psychics or Reiki healers prior and just blindly trusted. And that changed everything for me.
Holy crap. So why was that demon attached to you then?
I actually had multiple lives where a group of demons had been chasing me from lifetime to lifetime.
Whoa.
Yep. They locked me away from my powers, and I somehow disembodied from my body, and they had been chasing me from lifetime to lifetime and then found me. And I went through multiple months of like horrific suicidal ideation and attack on my energy every night, all day. My partner would have to hold me and say, Victoria, this is not you. Wake up from this dream. This is not you. It felt like I was going into this dark tunnel I couldn't escape from. I'd never had anything like that.
Wow.
I mean, life was hard, but not to the point that I wanted to kill myself, you know?
Yeah.
But prior to that, like I said, I was kind of blindly trusting what I was seeing, blindly trusting what I was being told. I wanted guidance. I was thinking that spiritually awakening was magical and I had all this access to all these gifts and powers. And then boom, you have multiple entity attachments. And then boom, this Akashic reader says, call him in. And then I had that one healer that I said, hey, I don't know if this feels right. She's like, you are an idiot if you believe this. And it changed my life.
That's so cool. So they were attacking you in your dreams, the demons?
Yep. Yeah, but they also attacked my health. I had panic attacks. I couldn't go in the car. I couldn't go out in public, any confined space. I started to get panic attacks because they would attack me, almost reminding me of that past life experience where I was held captive for my gifts.
Wow.
So anytime I was held captive, that's what my trauma did. It would say, you're in a car, that's held captive. You're at a red light, that's held captive. I would have panic attacks.
It makes you wonder because a lot of people are claustrophobic.
Yep.
Is that a past life trauma?
It could very well be a past life trauma. But the way I like to see it is I would rather your listeners not go, oh, maybe that is a past life trauma. Let me go dig into that. And instead go, hey, I'm going to pray over the truth. Something about this felt resonant. So let me take a deep breath. And if this information is meant to be true for me, please show me in a way I cannot miss it. Now I'm teaching somebody how to be sovereign, not to listen to somebody on the internet who says, if you're claustrophobic, you probably have a past life experience.
Right.
I don't teach that way because it's misguiding people.
Yeah, because you can't jump to conclusions for every single person.
Exactly. And not everybody's experience is the same. Most of our souls have interference on this planet. That's why we're living on a prison planet like Earth, where there's good and evil. Meaning we came here with generational karma, with bleed-throughs, curses, past life experiences where we were killed right before we fulfilled what we came here to do. Everybody's soul journey is unique. And so to say claustrophobia equals past life would be so misguiding somebody. And I'd rather somebody learn how to listen to what's going on in here.
Right. When you say interference, what do you mean by that?
So when I'm talking about interference, I'm talking about anything that happened to you as a soul that was negative or evil. Say, for example, in one life, you came on planet Earth to become, I don't know, a medicine woman. Let's say that. You got really close to being able to pursue your path, and then boom, an entity attachment happened. And you could not pursue what you came here to do. That energy bleeds into the next life. In the next life, you say, okay, I got this. I'm coming in. I'm going to be a medicine woman. Fantastic. But you have all of that negative, evil information that's still stuck from that other life. And so what ends up happening is most of us are just a byproduct of all of this evil karmic energy. And our soul is trying to get on its natural path of life where growth in the way that you were meant to grow happens naturally, not by force, not without challenge, but definitely not without evil influence.
Right. So you'll just keep repeating the life until you complete your mission.
Precisely. And for most of us in this life, of all lives, this is the life to be able to clear it. That's not to say we're going to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. None of us are Jesus Christ, although some people in the New Age community will tell you that they are, but we're not here to be Jesus. We're not here to be God. We're here to serve God. We're here to serve what we came here to do. And we do that by clearing all of the evil and negative interference that is stopping us from being able to do that.
There's a lot of that these days.
Oh, it's pretty much everywhere.
Man.
Like, I would say that evil is stronger on this planet right now than good. That's unfortunate to say, but it's true. How many people do you honestly know are fulfilling their path in a truly authentic way, are not motivated by greed or lust or temptation, that are able to fully trust in the divine source that they have an honest connection to? I honestly can probably list
one hand for me.
100%.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of people. So that tells us how far we truly are from our natural paths. I want to do what I came here to do on this planet. And if that means I got to remove what came before me, the things in my lineage, I had a 7th generational lineage bleed through, meaning on my mom's side, 7 generations back, the women of my bloodline were all very powerful and they used their power for evil.
Whoa.
And I've always felt that in my energy. 1 degree shift and suddenly I'm moving for the wrong reasons. I've always felt like I want to pursue why I came here so badly. Like it's in my cells, it's in my blood. But that fine line would have tipped me over if I didn't clear that generational bleed through.
Wow. Yeah, there was a lot of dark magic back then, right?
And even now, that's what I'm saying. You have to be mindful of who you are allowing into your energy, who you're allowing to give counsel to you. And if they're not reminding you of your sovereignty and instead they're keeping you in this rabbit hole of needing more information so you can keep healing, you're not going to evolve. And now you're in the definition of the matrix.
Yeah, a lot of people are in that.
100%. And so I want to encourage people to see that all the information they truly need is within them. And life feels different. Your gifts will grow beyond anything you could ever imagine when you're not forcing your will into everything.
Agreed.
That's the trap.
I think social media is great overall, but it really desensitizes people.
Yep.
I mean, I see death on mine. I see animals getting hurt. I see naked woman.
Yep.
Kanye West the other day with his wife. Did you see that?
Oh, when she was in the naked outfit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's, kids are seeing that, teenage boys and stuff, you know.
And that's the trap, is we are awakening at such a quickened speed that our bodies cannot handle this much information. So what happens? We disassociate. Biggest issue we're seeing are people are not in their bodies.
Really?
Yeah, because nobody wants to feel everything that we're feeling. I don't know about you, but my feelings lately are so up and down. You never know what you're going to get. I'm up one day, I'm down the next day. All of this solar flare activity, all this high vibrational energy that's coming on this planet, it's hard for our bodies to integrate. Now you imagine that you're just constantly scrolling, taking in more information. You're putting yourself in situations where you're going to experience disease at some point because you're not in your body. Or 2, worst, you're not even in your body. So you are a prime stake for an entity. Now you have an entity attachment, or even worse, a possession.
Sounds like you dealt with that.
Well, that's what I do in my work. I've experienced it myself, as I've shared here, with multiple entity attachments. And now I remove them and destroy them for a living.
Wow.
Now that's a fun gig.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you've ran into people that have actually been possessed?
Yeah, I have. I had a client who would black out completely. Would not remember anything for hours and then come back into her body because she was being hijacked by multiple reptilian beings since birth.
Whoa.
Yep. This is what happens when you leave your conduit. You're not in your body. You're always out there looking out there. You don't even know what's going on in your own field. And then you add in the fact that you're pursuing spirituality, where everything is about information, figure out who you are, why you're here. And you're on this dangled carrot of trying to get more and more. And so I can understand who I am. And when your body's out there, this is when your body is taken.
Yeah. Are you referencing like astral travel with that?
Yeah, you got to be careful with astral travel, because if you don't have a grounding cord, then you've just left your body available for anybody. Precisely. And a lot of people, they'll meditate at night and they'll fall asleep. Halfway through a visualization meditation, God knows where, not in their bodies, and not having the control to be able to change that direction and say, wait a second, where am I? So yeah, a lot of times astral traveling, leaving the body, but it's mostly on a day-to-day basis. People who are just going through their days in habit, right? In desire, in hunger, and not being in their own present experience. That's the challenge.
Even driving, I notice I dissociate sometimes.
Totally. And it's normal to disassociate, but not to the degree that we cannot control what we're feeling.
Yeah. Man, I'm with you though. The past month, I've had some weird anxiety. It's been hitting different lately for me.
It does. And when it comes in with a lot of pressure. This year specifically, it's called the Year of the Mother. When I channeled it, it's a Year of the Mother. It's a 9-year, a numerology 9-year. We are going to watch people who just randomly die.
Really?
We're going to watch people who just randomly get diseases out of nowhere. I've never seen so many young people, healthy people with disease like nothing I've ever seen. The reason is there's too much pressure in the energy that, like I was saying, people are not integrating, they're not slowing down, they're not finding balance in life to the point that everything becomes about awakening, ascending, awakening, ascending, awakening, ascending. And then their energy overloads.
There's already been a few deaths this year that are super young.
Oh, more to come.
Wow.
Because 9 is the end of a cycle. So 9 means that there will be endings. And whether that ending comes from you clearing a karmic cycle or your karmic cycle ending on Earth, there's going to be a lot more of that.
That's scary.
But we have to learn how to deal with the pressure and the energy that we're feeling from inside, right? I hear you. It's okay. You're safe. Not, how do I go get that somatic session so they can help me release the energy? And this isn't given a diss on people who do this type of work, but the New Age community is keeping us in positions of constantly being in our own matrix of healing, 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 healing. You can't heal and evolve at the same time.
Yeah.
So people are just, okay, somatic session, I have this. Oh, I have clogged energy. Let me go to this Reiki healer. Oh, I want to wake up, so let me do a Kundalini session. Where's the action and the evolution that's actually helping you move forward?
Right. Get to the root cause.
Get to the root cause and then grow a pair and move on.
Right.
That's the thing, is people are stuck healing, 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 healing. Broke healer martyr, broke healer who thinks that that's the holy grail, broke healer who doesn't even know who they actually truly are because it's just this perpetual loop.
Yeah. Healing's important, but it's not everything, right?
Healing only to the degree that I can then become a better person for the world.
Right.
But I have to act to be better for the world.
Agreed.
That's the trap, is people aren't acting. They're just sitting here on their airy-fairy healing journey thinking that that's what ascension is.
Yeah. Yeah, that can't be the main thing. I just hired a protector actually because I've been getting attacked in my dreams.
Really?
The past month, yeah.
Huh.
So I hired that because I can't be having nightmares. It's affecting my work if I'm not sleeping well.
Absolutely.
So it got to the point where it was affecting my livelihood.
Whoa. Do you have a particular remembrance of that dream? Like, is it the same kind of dream?
Similar themes, yeah.
Interesting. Do they feel connected to something personal to you in any way?
It does, yeah. It almost feels so real that I'm in another dimension, to be honest. Like, I don't know if I'm astral traveling somewhere.
Interesting. You should let me research your energy. Because
Okay.
what I can do is I can scan and see if that's coming from some sort of interference that's trying to move you forward on your path, and that needs to be removed, and things will change for you.
It feels demonic, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, like, it feels like someone's doing it.
Have you felt more motivated this year in your business, or have there been new changes in like how you want to show up?
Yeah. But I'm like that always, so I don't know if, it's hard to tell.
But there's no like real shift for you internally in terms of a breakthrough or realization or anything new on that end?
We've been doing well, so it could be.
Okay.
We've been doing well.
That's a big thing that I want to highlight is people think that entities or beings just attach to you because of your fear. If you're on your mission and you're on purpose, holy, you're a prime stake. That is more energy for an entity to live off of your purpose and your mission, especially when you're doing well.
Yeah.
How many people do you know? Because you know a lot of people. How many people do you know? Peak month, high success, hitting high multiple 7, 8, 9 figures, and then suddenly
It never lasts. Almost everyone I know has been through that.
attachments, psychic interference and attachments. It's not like, most people say, okay, well, social media, it's a hard game. I'm getting a lot of flack on my social media. People end up just saying, it is what it is, what it is, what it is.
Yeah.
People don't realize that actually a lot of what they're experiencing is psychic interference and attack on their energy.
Wow.
And that's why a lot of those high income surges to then living on a private island, no one ever knows about them.
Yeah.
Because of attack.
It could be that because we've had the most views we've ever had the past few months.
Yeah. Well, then there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I'm attracting all sorts of different attention.
100. And that means different vibrations, not just attention, but different vibrations who are like, oh, I see what he's doing. He's able to hold a neutral stance while holding a lot of perspectives.
Yeah.
That's dangerous because there's a lot of perspectives that need to be shared in the world that threaten what is right now. So it wouldn't surprise me if the anxiety that you experienced came around the time of a breakthrough that you were having in your brand, in your visibility. Visibility comes with the interference saying, no, 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 no. And because you're on all the time here, it's hard to attack you.
Yeah.
When you're in a vulnerable state, in the dream time, you wouldn't know any different.
That all lines up.
Yep.
Wow.
So I would be mindful of that, especially if you have your protector who's helping you. Say, if you have the skill, get to the root cause. If not, let me research your energy and I'll see what the root cause is.
Right.
Because if it's connected to, maybe you went to one of your events, your outings, talked to someone, they had a dark energy attached.
It could have been, yeah.
Oh,
I talked to thousands of people.
And that's my point. That's my point. That's why I never enter a space unless I'm protected. Because I don't know you and you don't technically know me.
Right.
And not even just from a physical point of view, from a spiritual point of view.
Yeah. Because we got Merkaba fields, right?
100%.
So our spirits are interacting right now.
100%. And so I want to leave going, that was a nice interview with Sean. Not, oh God, whatever Sean picked. I definitely got some of that. Yeah. I don't want what you got and you don't want what I got. So that is really important. I bet you there's something connected to your breakthrough that you've recently had.
Yeah, I need to look into that. Yeah, sometimes it be your own family.
Definitely be your own family.
I'm sure you dealt with that.
Oh, I dealt with that. And I love my family very much. They led me to a certain point of my growth that made me the entrepreneur that I am. I think struggling your entire life for food, shelter, water, which was really a lot of my childhood, not having enough resources, having a lot of parental figures growing up. I had six parental figures between the ages of 0 and 7.
Whoa.
My parents
that's like 1 year.
Yeah. My parents got remarried 3 times each.
In 6 years?
Yeah. When
Holy
I'm
crap.
trying to learn what stability and safety and who my parents are.
90% of your brain is formed those ages.
My thoughts. Exactly. So my life was really assumed that people would always leave. But that meant that I would always stay. So this created this motivator in me, like I'm going to be the one that's going to do the thing that's going to be out. So I was running on trauma response my whole life. The benefit of that is you can build a really great business from trauma.
You can.
Most people do.
I did.
Yeah.
I got bullied hella growing up.
Yeah. And that's probably why you're like, watch me turn the water to wine, my friends.
Yeah.
And then at some point it's like, ooh, well, now I'm actually like living my life for how other people perceive me so I can validate a part of me that doesn't totally feel like I'm good enough without it. And then you cannot hit higher and higher levels of growth from there. You kind of have to stop at some point in your entrepreneurial journey, stop giving a fuck what people think about you.
Agreed.
If you want to hit higher and higher levels, for me, that's where my generational energy needed to stop. It was like, y'all help me be resilient, to turn water from wine, to do the best I could with what I had. But if I want more than what I could have ever dreamt of, something that has never been done before, now I need to color different than what you've given me.
Agreed. And that's where the podcast changed my perspective on that.
Yeah.
Because I used to care a lot about what other people
Tell me about that. Like how did...
Well, I used to be scared to speak up. I used to care about how I was perceived. Yeah. I waited years before starting this because I was scared of how it would be
But
judged.
Did you have the dream before then? Like how long before you actually started?
Well, I tried doing a podcast like 5 years ago. It failed. So I always wanted to do it.
Yeah. So then you got back on the horse and you did it again.
Yeah.
So when was that moment for you where you were like, now I'm actually going to build this for me and I'm not going to care how people perceive me?
I will say having a safety net financially helped me get there.
Yep.
Because this is my means of living. So if I don't have something to fall back on,
totally,
I think it'd be, because then you're reacting emotionally on the podcast instead of just being, in the moment.
That's a good point that you're bringing up too. And a lot of people who are doing good in the world, they, I know, you gotta have money to make it and you got to put it down if you want to be able to grow. But then at some point it's like, I don't want to keep doing this just to make money. I want a safety net so that it can almost invigorate my passion even more so that I know when I go home, my family's taken care of. I'm not doing this just to make money. I'm doing this because I love talking.
Exactly.
I love communicating. I love serving.
Yeah, because you don't want to be a sellout. You don't want to rely on other people to make a living, sponsors or whatever.
Yeah, you don't want it to feel like I need to interview 5 people so I can make the guap. It's like, no, I want to interview people I like.
Exactly.
People that make me feel like I'm accepted. And that makes me want to show up.
Yeah. So that for me is huge because a lot of shows don't operate that way.
Yeah, I see that in you. I respect that about you.
Yeah.
And I also really like that your journey of having a journey where you were bullied for who you were, it almost makes you a better person now because you never want to treat people the way that you were treated. Interestingly enough, I was a bully.
Really?
Yeah, because I grew up in an abusive household.
Whoa.
And because I grew up in an abusive household where this man was beating my mom and causing a lot of harm to her, it made me rough around my edges.
Mm.
And because I didn't have a lot and my friends did, I grew up in a rich neighborhood, I wanted to be cool. So
Yeah.
I had to make up for something, hashtag love those bullies. Like my childhood was so traumatic that was my only way of being able to try to find control was over others.
Wow.
And it's an unfortunate journey that's how it manifested for a long time. But that, hurt people is very true.
Right.
It's interesting that you got bullied and I was a bully and now we're here being like, but look how we can meet each other here in love and say, hey, I know what it feels like to cause harm to somebody or hurt somebody because I was hurting behind the scenes.
And that's what I've realized as I've gotten older, because I used to have a lot of hatred towards bullies.
Yeah,
But they're dealing with stuff.
Yep.
They're not just bullying you for no reason.
No, they're bullying you because they're bullying themselves. Like, that's why.
Yeah.
I would come home, I'd wet my bed, I would wet the hamper I was hiding in because the man that my mom married lied to us. And then we found out that he was actually a crack addict and not.
Whoa.
Yeah, he lied about his career. My mom moved in because she needed financial support. Then we found out he was a crack addict.
Holy crap.
And he would lock me and my sister in my bedroom and we would hide from him.
Jesus.
Yeah. And so, of course, it made me hard around my edges. It was like, this is what it's like to live. Like, this is not it. And then I would go out in the world and hurt people because deep down I was hurting.
Yeah. Is that when you started dissociating around that time?
Yeah. I actually found a big journey in art. I know a lot of people who struggle to fit in, find art in some way. Like, look what you're doing here. Like, this is your art.
Right.
This is your palette that you can create from whatever. For me, it was music. I had a performance career. So I was a musical theater artist for 20 years of my life.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I would start this journey by putting my headphones in and listening to music. And I would imagine and almost disassociate. Yeah. And imagine I was in a completely different world that was different than the one that I left the door and then had an abusive parent at the time.
What a journey. Wow.
Yeah.
And now the music industry's been taken over too.
100%. I mean, I was a Disney princess. So when my spiritual awakening happened, I was playing Elsa on a cruise ship. I was singing Let It Go for 9 months straight on a cruise ship. Yeah, what a contradiction. I couldn't let anything go, but I was singing Let It Go for 9 months. But that really, that catapulted my awakening. I mean, Disney's a whole other conversation in terms of how it's been taking over, but I respect what I love about the Disney culture was that they taught us about maintaining belief.
Yeah.
And maintaining magic and wonder. And that's something that I do in my work now. And so I love that about that. And those 20 years of disassociating, imagining I was in a different world, in many ways it saved me, but it prepared me to be here with you and not feel like, oh my God, it's Sean Kelly. Like human, let's get real.
Yeah. Yeah. We got to get rid of that idolizing culture. It's dangerous.
We totally do, because you're a human and I'm a human and we're just trying to serve the world and make it a better place.
Yeah. Yeah. That fanboy stuff, it has to stop.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you probably get it a lot.
Yeah, but even celebrities don't like it. Like, it's annoying.
Well, the celebrity just created something that just happened to be met by the right person at the right time. It's like one thing kicks off your career and now you can't go to, 7-Eleven to get eggs.
You're remembered by it. That's why child actors struggle mentally, actually.
Huge. And you see a lot of them, hopefully, more of them find their healing and be able to do that through their voice and command what happened to them, and their life does not define them.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you watch Mufasa?
I did not watch
Oh,
Mufasa.
so you're not on the Disney bandwagon anymore.
Guys, I kind of got off the wagon. I did. But I do love Disney, especially when it comes to like, I need to relax.
Yeah. I will say this was probably their best recent movie.
Okay. Is it like they use a new type of technology?
Yeah, it wasn't like the old cartoon. It was kind of like realistic. You like the old stuff?
I do. I kind of mess with the old stuff. It reminds me of like how things started.
Right. Something special about that.
Yeah.
That animation style for sure.
I'm sure you probably remember the days when your things started. Like you said, I started, it didn't work, and then I started again. Like, there's something so beautiful about remembering where you came from. Otherwise, you can get lost in where you're trying to go.
Yeah. But yeah, I stopped watching Disney for a while. I gave Mufasa a chance.
Yeah.
And I think they're coming back around.
Okay.
I mean, their business was hurting.
Yeah.
People were not about Disney for a bit.
I know, especially because Pixar like really took a strong momentum in the industry. I think they're coming back around with more innovation, and I like they're coming through with more spirituality. Like, they're talking more about spiritual journeys with more complex characters. The next thing they got to do is they got to make Elsa come out as gay. If Elsa is gay, that changes the game, because every young girl loves Elsa.
Okay. So that's a hot take.
100%. Let's go, Disney.
So Disney was getting a lot of heat for like the gay stuff, the trans stuff. So you're on board with Disney on that side?
I mean, I'm on board with Disney in pushing the edges of things that can open the doors of conversation. Do I think that a trans person should be on a Disney character show? No, I don't think so. But in terms of pushing the edge of somebody that is already so well loved to then open up the door and say, hey, you can love who you want to love, I think that that's a better angle than like you can be anything you want to be, which is the trickery that I'm seeing a lot inside of the LGBTQ community.
Right. And that community is under fire right now with Trump's new executive order, right?
Yeah, because a lot of people are feeling really threatened. Their identity feels very threatened.
Right.
And what happens when people's identity are centered around a trauma response? Now it's all reaction. Instead of like, this is just who I am. And guess what? If there's a will, there's a way. Regardless of if you're the Queen of Sheba or you're Donald Trump. Regardless, there's a will, there's a way. But people feel like their will gets taken away because their identity is connected to trauma.
Yeah.
Right? So they feel like, oh, he's taking away something from me. No one can take anything away from you. You already got rid of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I still don't know how I feel about the trans stuff because I did some past life readings.
Okay.
I was trans in a couple of them.
So wait, okay, now how do you feel about it?
That's what I mean. Like, there's a lot of programming on it.
Oh,
so I'm trying to form my own opinion without all the noise.
Yep.
And it's really hard.
Well, I'll tell you this. If I was in the spiritual community and I was not marrying a trans person, I probably wouldn't have a lot of information and I'd probably follow against the agenda. But I met a person and that person identified as female when we met. They were a female influencer. It was the first lesbian relationship I had ever been in. And then a year into our relationship, he told me he was trans.
Wow.
And I've been with him through his entire transition, hormonally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and I've loved him through and through the entire journey. I have never seen somebody consciously transition before my eyes. And it makes me emotional. It has moved me to watch what is being said about trans people and then watching somebody like my partner being like, I don't want to identify as trans. I want to be me.
Wow.
And this is just my expression. Nobody's threatening my expression, but suddenly there's an attack on trans people, even though trans people have always been around. Yeah. We need to be having conversations about non-binary people who are making decisions from traumatized places. A lot of people who are choosing to be non-binary are not coming from a spiritual point of view. They're coming because they have trauma in the gender that they were assigned at birth, and they don't also feel comfortable in another gender. So they're deciding to walk the middle. They're walking the middle because they don't feel like they belong in either gender. Trans people have always been around, but suddenly there's an attack on trans people. That is what breaks my heart.
Yeah. Yeah. They're scared to speak up right now.
They are, because most trans people just want to be trans people. You know, anybody who's consciously on their journey and doing it for the right reasons, for the right heart, they don't want to be identified as trans.
Yeah.
They want to be a person and they want to be able to be that person.
Yeah. You got to be careful with the labels. The main concern I was seeing, because I studied both sides of that, and I think a lot of people were angry that they were teaching it to children.
Oh, I agree.
So that was the main concern I saw about it.
Well, I challenged my partner on this. And I said, you found out that you were trans at 25. If you found out younger, would you have wanted to have access to that information? And I loved his response. He said, it's too hard for me to say at the perspective of 25 what I would have wanted back then. Even though back then, it's very clear. He wanted to cut off his breasts at a young age because he didn't want to be like women.
Wow.
Who thinks like that? He wanted to get breast cancer so that he could remove his breasts.
Whoa.
Who thinks like that? Nobody. He didn't want to play with any female assigning toys. He wanted to be Darth Vader. He never wanted to fit in. He's always worn male clothing. I mean, the signs were there, but his answer was, would I have wanted to go on hormone blockers, potentially younger, so I didn't have to go through my entire adolescence and then transition? Perhaps. It's a little bit harder for some people that way. But he said, I awakened when I did. And I'm at peace with that. And I don't think that we should be pushing hormone blockers or gender changes until, again, like I teach spirituality, until it comes to you. Because if it's meant for you, it'll come to you. Not, okay, I was 7 years old and I learned inside a class that we've got 17 genders. Like, that's not it, my guy. What is it? Something feels, I don't know, like I'm not solid in who I am. I don't know why that is. Well, let me go on a self-exploration journey. And then if you land at transgender, then you land at transgender. At least it came from the right place, not because society told you you can be whoever you want.
Right.
Biology will tell you who you are. And you can decide to present as a different gender. But what I love the most about my partner is he says, I am a biological female and I am a trans man. He's not pretending that he did not come into this earth as a biological female. And even now, he's a trans man. It's a different dialogue. It's going to trigger a lot of your audience, but we can pretend that that's not true, but I think we all know it is true.
Yeah.
And I really want to empower those, parents who have children who are curious about their gender, or their son's, daughter's gender, and they're bringing up their concerns, or maybe any of your listeners who are actually considering a transition journey. It's like, what is the motivator? And do you need somebody else out there to threaten your identity? If so, then is your identity even solid to begin with?
Good point.
And can we all agree that there are male and female genders? Like that is the gender. From here, you can express however you want to express. Make sure it's coming from the right place.
Yeah. I remember growing up, I remember the Tom girls. They were cool.
I was totally a Tom girl.
You were a Tom girl?
Yeah. And my fiance was definitely a Tom girl. Like when we met, he was dressing androgynous. Always dressing. Yeah. He was always looking in the men's section.
Oh, wow.
And he could have very well stayed that way. But there was a part of his soul journey that needed to express this way. And it's interesting. He says that should we not have been in a time like we are right now where the masculine and feminine need more balance? Maybe he wouldn't have transitioned. But he has perspective from being a biological female and having taken testosterone and transitioned, and what it's like to be a male in society, at least presenting in society.
Yeah.
So he has perspective in a way that no other polarity teacher can tell you unless they've actually experienced both expressions of this gender.
Right.
And so if we were in different times where the world wasn't evolving so rapidly, maybe he would have chosen a different path. And that's freedom to me. It's like everything that's happening in the world, it's happening in the world. You can be in the world, but not of the world. And he's not of the world. He's like, that's happening in the world, but I'm still expressing myself as Hayden because that's where my soul is taking me.
Yeah.
If something changes, I'll be ready for it.
That's deep. I love that. Do you see a lot of men ashamed to express their feminine energy?
Yeah, I do. But I also see a lot of women, more so. I see a lot of women who feel that they need to be masculine. This was something I really struggled with. I felt like when I grew my business, and I grew my business from trauma, I needed everything to be a certain way. And I actually find, from my perspective, I see a lot of women who struggle to let go of that masculine energy. And then, of course, the reverse is a lot of men who struggle to welcome in that feminine energy.
Right. I wonder what's causing that, because it seems pretty bad.
Well, trauma plays a big role. What we learned was safe. What we learned wasn't safe. What we learned was okay. How we were condemned or appreciated for the certain spectrum of our emotions.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, it's very multi-layered and it's multi-dimensional. But what I will say is acceptance is the key for all of it.
Yeah.
Acceptance is the key. It's like when I accepted that I was a hyper-masculine woman because I grew up in an environment that was really unsafe, then suddenly it was like, I'm not shaming myself anymore. Now, how do I want to move forward?
Yeah, it's interesting. Even when my father passed, I was holding back emotions. I didn't want to cry and let it loose. I was so conditioned to not express emotion,
Was there a shift for you in that?
I started thinking, like, why am I reacting this way? Because I was not even wanting to cry in front of my fiance about it.
Can you release emotion now? Does it feel like something you're open to?
It's better, but I still can improve for sure.
Well, I find, at least for myself, that having a safe container makes a world of difference. So when your fiance says, hey, I'm here for you, whatever you need, there's no judgment here. How do you want to process this? Now suddenly you're like, I think I'm going to be okay. Be able to come on here and cry in front of you, to be able to go, that's my honest reaction.
Right.
And I'm okay because I feel like you're a safe environment. If I didn't think you were a safe environment, I might have been like, excuse me, can we pause this for a second? Like the environment of safety allows us to be able to be who we are.
Agreed.
If that creates tears, great. If that doesn't, it's okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's the way I grew up.
Yeah.
We did not show emotion.
There you go.
Like either parents.
Yep.
Very stoic, heart, tough love, I guess.
Yeah.
So I never expressed emotion growing up.
Yeah. And my mom expressed everything, but nothing. Like she said everything, but the thing she actually meant.
Yeah.
So it'd be a lot of stories, a lot of drama, but nothing was actually really based in reality.
Wow.
And I could see how that, obviously created my performance career, and I did great.
Yeah.
I could play in these fantasies, these very strong women, and smash it. But then who was Victoria after?
Identity crisis, right?
Yeah, I had that too.
Yeah. And I'm still having an identity crisis. I'm like still figuring out who I am, but I'm okay with that because I think that's the whole point. The moment you think you know, oh, God will show you that you know nothing.
Oh yeah, you'll get humbled.
100%. So I think the goal is to stay a humbled conduit, stay a student of life, and accept the path that is in front of you. And then naturally things will just, next thing you know, you'll evolve.
Yeah. Every time I feel the ego creeping up, I'm like, all right, something bad's going to happen right now.
Every time. And it's like almost instant now. The moment that my ego is like, I'm going to do this so I can it's like, okay, well, you want that like 7 times as much backlash because you're about to have it. And it happens every time.
Every time.
Every time.
Yeah. Yeah, I got an avoidant attachment style, so that's something I've been working on.
Oh, me too.
Oh, you got that too?
Oh, I got that too. My partner knows because I'll start to walk away from him, like really far away and be like, I need space.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said about needing space to process emotion. But if I'm creating distance because I want closeness, which is usually what an avoidant does, I need space, I need space, I need space. But they're really saying like, show me that I can be safe close. Then trying to like lean into that's been the work.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm actually safe. I don't have to process this alone. This emotion is okay. And I'm going to allow myself to be, yes, sure. Okay. Yep. My fiance calls it my porcupine aura.
I love it.
I'll become like, don't touch me, but if I can just, you know what? I'm marrying this person.
Yeah.
If I'm marrying this person, they're accepting me for who I am. Let me just show him that I feel really uncomfortable here, or at least voice, I feel really uncomfortable to meet you closer here.
Yeah, that conversation's important.
It's so important, especially if we're getting married.
Yeah. I used to self-sabotage so many friendships every time I got too close with people. And it was like, why am I doing this?
Yeah, I would expect that they would leave.
Yeah.
Right? Expecting that they would leave. And Hayden, my fiance, is the first person that has ever shown me true love.
I love it.
Ever. And that was probably the hardest thing to accept. It's way easier to accept a hot, karmic guy that you break up with every once in a while, but you fuck real good. It's way easier to have that because everything is based in trauma.
Yeah.
So you're always on the edge of your seat. It's totally different when you're like, we can just sit here and like love each other.
Yeah.
And like morning breath and like challenges in our lives. We're okay. Whoa, my body's like, run. Like he's going to leave it sometime. Like it's totally different dialogue when you're like, I'm not going to continue to perpetuate this because I have somebody who's finally showing me what true love looks like.
So beautiful. Yeah, when I was younger, my friends would always attract these toxic relationships.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, why are you doing that? But
Were
then I
you doing
realized
that too?
No, I actually wasn't.
Good for you. So even though you experienced an avoidant childhood, really, you didn't create that in your relationship.
Well, I was just so shy. I didn't even know how to talk to girls.
Yeah.
So I had very few relationships growing up.
Okay.
But anyways, they would attract these relationships and I would always put the blame on the girl.
Yeah.
But now as I'm older, I'm like, wait, they needed to work on themselves.
Yes.
Because you're attracting what you are.
Yeah. And what was odd to me is that when I attracted my partner, I didn't know that's who I was. I didn't think I was worthy of something like that. Wow. I didn't even know that existed. Like I said, 6 parental figures between 0 and 7. Most of my relationships were karmic based on attraction and lust, not authenticity and truth. When I met my partner, who's a secure attachment style, I call him a golden retriever because he's like honestly a golden retriever, kind, loving, thoughtful person with a secure mindset. It was disarming for me because I was not equipped to navigate something that wasn't karmic, but that was dharmic. That was souls coming together to meet God deeper in a union. I'd never had that in my life.
Is he very spiritual too?
He actually, since his transition, he's been very quickly on his path.
Wow.
Yeah, and his journey has been more so working with frequency and manipulation. You'd actually love to chat with him. Manipulation vibrationally in the planet, with electricity. A lot about how EMF and radiation has totally screwed up our bodies on such a heightened level. Disease has been skyrocketing ever since, phone poles were created. And he's just, he's such a wonderful human being that has such a beautiful perspective about transness, about the agendas that are on this planet and the depreciation of health and the real root cause of why they're happening.
I love it. Is it true the vibration of the planet's being manipulated?
Oh, 100%.
Wow.
Inside and out at such high levels that if we're not in our bodies, we will just float off to the universe.
Holy crap.
One thing that came through last year when I was channeling it was that if you were not willing to face your mirror or yourself in 2024, you would disassociate.
Damn.
And I don't know about you, but how many people have you seen recently that are just like not okay?
A lot. Like
Just-
Justin Bieber. Oh
Oh,
my God.
Just like not okay. Exactly.
He looks like he's,
Just 1 degree off. And that 1 degree has now turned into a completely different path. A lot of people are experiencing psychosis, spiritual psychosis at a high level because they've been attacked, didn't know they were being attacked, didn't know how to stay in their body. And now here we are.
That's because they're intentionally lowering the vibration, right?
Yeah. And also, motivators right now are really desperate. People are really desperate to figure out how to navigate this energy because we're all kind of navigating it seemingly blindly, if you will, because we don't know what to do. Like you had anxiety spouts that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
They're so heightened. You're like, what the heck?
Which hasn't happened to me in a while.
That's
I thought
my
I had it
point.
on lock and then this started happening.
That's my point. And I wonder how many of your listeners are having experiences that just don't make sense. A lot of it is vibrational manipulation from external entities, energies, beings, and groups that are trying to keep the vibration at a lower density. Not so that we ascend and like leave this planet, which a lot of people think that we're like ascending to 5D.
Yeah.
No. It's so that we can master this reality, therefore master our sovereignty.
Yeah, I hear about that 3D to 5D. I don't know what's going on with that.
Oh, I think it's hooey.
Really?
I think it's hooey because it puts people in positions of thinking that we are here on this planet to ascend to a vibration or a new earth that is not here. So everything is about obtaining more information, ascending their consciousness, raising their vibration, instead of just being here in their bodies and allowing natural timing to occur.
Yeah.
If we really look at history, every 100 years, something happened in the world. A war, a significant famine, some sort of challenge in the planet. There was always evolution. What makes us different? I've begged to see what the actual difference is in what we're experiencing from what evolution has shown us every century.
Yeah.
That changes the dialogue. If I'm not special and I'm just evolving, then what is this 5D stuff? This isn't to say that we're not accessing higher vibrations. We absolutely are, but we're doing it on a 3rd dimensional planet.
Yeah.
We're doing it on planet Earth. And when we're on planet Earth, there's a war between good and evil. There's no amount of transcending your consciousness that is going to change reality. Just because you and I are here right now and we're not thinking about war doesn't mean that war isn't happening. Murderers are not happening.
It's happening everywhere.
It's happening everywhere. That people who are ODing on drugs are not happening. No. It's happening. What, are we all just going to ascend to 5D on a new Earth where there's no longer going to be garbage men because everyone's fulfilling their karma? No, everybody has a role. And on this planet, there are going to be divide. We have to understand that division exists on this planet. It's the way this planet works. And our job is to be able to understand how these vibrations are commingling with each other, how they're at dissonance and resonance with each other, and master our own energy.
Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of Christians saying Jesus is going to come soon too.
Oh, yeah. They really do think that
They really believe in this lifetime.
Well, I think that there could be partial truth in this. But I also cannot tell you from 2025, the perspective of now, how many centuries before people thought Jesus was coming.
True.
Right? We could go back if you and I had access to every 100 years that came before, how many people thought the end was near? Is Jesus a metaphor for every century on Earth where there is evolution, which has always been the case of this planet? She is always evolving. And is he just a metaphor for us to see how to navigate these times every century? That changes the dialogue.
It does.
Because it's not like the end is near, so let me just get rid of all my sins so that I can make it to the other side. It's like, no, I'm a human, therefore I'm a sinner. As long as I'm a human, I sin.
Yeah.
I have temptation. Why would I not use it in a positive way? Why would I not use the desire that I have, that God has given me, to serve passion and authenticity and motivation and purpose? It doesn't have to serve greed and gluttony. It can serve passion.
Right.
And based on that, then the dialogue becomes, well, is it really the end of time, or is it just the beginning of a new time? And that new time is what has always been every century. Then Jesus is just a metaphor for how we're evolving.
Is there a divide in Christianity and with what you teach? Because I know you teach a lot of people, right?
Yeah. Yes. Because here's what I'm seeing in the New Age community. So New Age spirituality to me is like Kundalini activations, plant medicine, Reiki, crystals, tarot, any sort of divination that is connected to ascension with New Age technologies. The challenge with this particular community is it's all based in self-obsession. I'm going to set out a manifestation so I can create my reality so that I can manifest $100,000 this month.
Yeah.
But then when they don't, then it keeps them on a shame spiral. Why didn't I? I wasn't good enough. I wasn't in my power. I'm a creator of my reality. I should be this, that. The issue with this community is that they're trying to play God. You can't play God and serve God at the same time. There is a God. We could all probably go into who we think this God is. For me, it's the I am. It's the I am that everything is.
Yeah.
This I am had a divine image for what my life looked like. That looks very different, being the image made in his image than being him. People are trying to be God. And when you try to be God, you have no relationship with faith. Real faith, real God. So then in the Christian community, the challenge here is, they have no issue having a relationship with God and Jesus. I think it's beautiful. It's beautiful to have a relationship. The issue is they have no idea who they are. They close off all openings to who we truly are. Who we are as divine beings. What other beings are there? Their natural gifts, their connection to their psychic abilities, who they truly are, they've cut off because somewhere in the Bible it says, don't do any witchcraft.
Right.
Can we all just agree that Jesus was a psychic and move on now? He just touched somebody and healed. We're just not going to call that him being psychic? Oh, okay. So a pastor can stand up on a stage and say, Jesus brought me this message. What do you mean? He cognizantly brought you a message. That means that you're psychic, my guy.
Yeah, telepathy.
100%. Can we just agree? Can we get over that so that we can actually have the real conversation, which is the New Age community is self-obsessed. You cannot have a thriving, evolving life when you are always at the mercy of what you are broken in. And that's the challenge of the New Age community. With Christianity, they don't know who they are, so they're not actually evolving. And everything is about God and Jesus, God and Jesus, God and Jesus. It's not opening themselves up to truth, which is all that is.
Yeah.
So I believe that there's going to be an intersection point. I think it's happening this year. Maybe you've seen this. A lot of people who are super New Age who then become Bible thumpers. And then people who are Bible thumpers who then go all the way to New Age and then they experience spiritual psychosis as a byproduct because they're too extreme. I think there's going to be a merging where it's like, I have a relationship with God, meaning I have a relationship with a higher power, a benevolent higher power who works in love and faith and truth. And then I also understand that I am a co-creator of this reality with this divine orchestrator. And I am setting intentions to serve my heart's desires and utilizing divination tools, should I choose, that support me in being able to gain more confirmation so I can keep following my intuition. I think there needs to be a merging of both.
Yeah.
Right? I know who I am, but I am not stuck in trying to control who I am. And I'm also understanding that I was made in the image of God. So I want to surrender my heart to what that actual natural order is supposed to be for my life.
Yeah. I love that because I'm not Christian, but I do believe in God.
Me
and
too.
I'm not atheist.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what to label that, but that's what I am.
Yeah. But that's it. You have a connection with a higher power and you're open to learning more about who you are. We need more of that. But people have such literal daddy issues with the word God because of all of the religious indoctrination that they don't want to use the word God. So they'll supplement universe or source or creator. And that's fine. Just acknowledge that that's also a trauma response because you're afraid to use the word God. And
higher self.
Totally. It's like, I'm connecting with my higher self. It's like, okay, well, I'll be over here using the real word that it is, which is God. And that's okay. But that's the challenge in those two communities is there has to be one self-power and understanding the power of oneself, but not to the point that it becomes self-obsession. And then source, yes, a connection with source, but not so much that you completely forego all of your self-power.
Right.
There has to be a merging between I am a powerful being who is on this planet to serve the image of what my life is meant to look like. I am surrendered and I am also consciously creating.
Yeah. I know you're a channeler. How do you determine, there's so many channelers. I never know which ones to believe. You know what I mean?
To be honest, I don't really believe many, if any, honestly. And it wasn't always that way. As you know, I was kind of a blind New Age person who was just open to anything.
Yeah.
For me, ethics, responsibility, control, those things need to be plastered in their brand. The responsibility of having an open channel, meaning they're not just available at 2 a.m. saying, I got a message from Ra. like, wow, you're a loser. Like, wow, I'm sleeping. I don't know about you, but I'm sleeping. I'm trying to have a life,
Yeah.
you know, that they have control over their channel and they understand the responsibility, the weight of being able to be open to this. And then the control and the ethics of how they actually want to use their gifts in a controlled, responsible way. And they follow that code of ethics so that they maintain integrity. That is how I at least go, okay, I'm open. I'm open to learning what you got. Otherwise, you're wasting my time, because most channelers have very little control over their channel, which tells me they're weak, not that they're strong, right? It's like money.
Yeah.
Anybody can have money. Anybody can make money. Tell me what your savings look like. Tell me what your investments look like. Tell me what your portfolio looks like. Tell me what your net worth is. Tell me how you're serving your family. Tell me how you're serving the world. Now I'll decide whether or not you're worthwhile to have a conversation about money advice. Right? So it's
Agreed.
like same thing. Like the acquiring of all of these messages means absolutely nothing unless you have control, unless you have ethics and you use them responsibly. And you don't see a lot of that. You see a lot of aimless channeling from beings and then like glorifying that.
Right.
And then no ounce of balance in their life. So they have absolutely no discernment.
See a lot of that.
Honestly, pretty much everywhere, don't you?
I don't believe the celebrity channeling. I feel like, because doesn't the other side have to connect with you?
Say that again.
Like if you're channeling, like, do they have to approve you, or can you just channel anyone?
You can technically channel anybody.
Oh, you can?
That's the problem.
Okay.
So even if I set an intention, let's say I like wanted to call in, I don't know, let's say I wanted to call in Jesus, which a lot of people do and say that they do, but they don't. I would set an intention to call forward Jesus into the space, and then I would be open to receive. And then this being that probably looked like the vision that you would see Jesus to be like in your mind would come forward. And most people would go, Jesus is here. I have a message. I would go, First, I'm not even prepped, meaning I haven't prepared this space at all. My energy, no grounding cord, no shield in the space, no shield up. My channel's not technically open. How the heck do I know what I'm a vibrational match for? So that first thing, I would be my own red flag. Most people are walking outside going, I have a message. Like, it's from Jesus. No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Then the next part goes, okay, let's say I did have a channel prepped and everything was all ready to go. Then when Jesus came forward, I would say, show me your true vibration. Show me who you truly are. Because beings cannot lie.
Oh, wow.
But they can trick you.
What do you mean by that?
They can go, look over here. Look over here. I am Jesus. I am Jesus. Instead of, show me your true vibration. Show me that you are love. And they can't.
So demons can't lie.
Nope. But they can trick you.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they're tricking the entire planet right now.
Wow.
But
I wonder why they can't lie.
Because God is the absolute truth.
Wow.
They have to separate from God in order to appear as God. I like to explain it like this. God, if God is the sun, then an external entity is like the charger or the outlet. It needs something to plug into to thrive. So it needs to go, I am Jesus, look at me. And then you go, oh, wow, I'm an idiot. Yeah. That is Jesus. Yeah, come on in. Oh, I have a prophetic message from Jesus. Now it connects to your energy.
Wow. So they still have to follow the rules.
Yeah, they do, because there are laws to this universe you have to follow. However, I think you and I can probably agree that there's no reason why God couldn't just wipe out this earth again. He's done it before. He could do it again. The evil on this planet, at least in my experience, having had multiple entity attachments, it served me being able to sit here in front of you and teach safe psychic protection, because I was an idiot before. In many ways, it taught me who God was. You know, people say you can't have darkness without the light. I believe that's true, but I believe that good and evil are different things. I think an angel and a demon is different than my light and my shadow. So for me, evil teaches us really who God is. And sometimes we have to encounter it in order to be able to know who God is.
Interesting. So you believe it's necessary in a way?
I do and I don't. I don't believe, in my case, I don't believe it was necessary for me to have an entity attachment in order for me to be able to wake up. But I don't honestly know what the alternative would have been. Would I have just had multiple different psychic attacks that had happened in new environments to the point where I was like, what is going on?
Right.
Would I have had to listen to somebody who talked about having an attack and I would have been like, I never considered that? I don't know.
Yeah.
What I do know is I can't serve two masters, and I was serving the dark side, basically. And in that experience, it showed me what true light was. The way I like to explain it is the interferences that you have that are evil, I don't think it's necessary for you to grow. But do I think that it helps you grow? Yeah.
I love that.
You know?
Because growth comes from discomfort.
Precisely, which is different than evil.
Right.
Discomfort and evil are different things. Evil is a manipulation and an extraction to your light. It's totally different than I'm uncomfortable sitting here because it's the first time I've ever done a podcast interview like this. That's nerves, that's growth, that's discomfort, it's dysregulation. It's different than what you're experiencing in the dream time, which is psychological warfare. That's evil. Psychologically manipulating. Look over here. Look what's going on over here with all the drones while we do all this shit over here. Right? It's trickery. It's not a lie. It's hiding in plain sight. That's the difference. People need to understand the nuances of evil. It's so smart that it knows how to hide in front of your face and go, I am Jesus. And an idiot will go, the Messiah.
Where can people watch your channeling sessions?
So a lot of what I do is on Instagram. So that's on Victoria Pippo. Inc.com is my website, otherwise Victoria Pippo. The main thing I teach is the Sovereign Healer School. And that is my 9-month psychic development school. So if you stand for ethics, integrity, control, having access to all your abilities, no matter what you do in service to humanity, that's going to be the best place to work with me.
Perfect. We'll link that below. Anything else you want to close off with? That was fun.
No, I appreciate you. Thanks for having me on and allowing us to have a grounded conversation about safe spiritual awakening.
Absolutely. I set up my cord before this episode.
Did you actually?
Yeah, I did it when you told me.
You did?
Yeah.
Dude, that is the best.
I take action quick, so.
Well, that's why we're here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we made it happen. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, check her out, guys, and I'll see you next time.